Survival training teaches the wrong first step. Most survival training, whether civilian or military-inspired, begins with action: build a fire, find water, move towards safety, do something. That instinct feels productive, but history shows it's often the first mistake. Across wars, expeditions, and disasters, the people who survived longest did not rush to solve problems. They stabilized first. Modern survival training rarely emphasizes this, and the omission gets people hurt. The true first step in survival is not a task, it is a pause. Action bias kills more survivors than ignorance. Humans are, wired to act under stress. When something goes wrong, movement just feels like control. But in survival situations, that instinct leads to overexertion, injury, disorientation, and rapid resource loss. Soldiers lost in unfamiliar terrain, explorers separated from supplies, and civilians stranded after disasters have, time and again, made the same error. They moved before understanding their situation. Historically, experienced survivors fought the urge to act immediately. They stopped, sat down, and assessed. This was not hesitation, it was, deliberate stabilization. Stabilization comes before problem solving. Ancient travelers and military units taught a simple rule: stop bleeding, stop exposure, stop panic. Only then address food, water, or navigation. Modern survival training often reverses this order, emphasizing external solutions before internal control. Practically, stabilization means checking your body first. Are you injured? Are you losing heat? Are you overheating? Are you breathing rapidly or shaking? These conditions degrade judgment faster than hunger or thirst. Fixing them early prevents cascading failures. Energy is the first real currency. Every action costs energy. In survival, energy equals heat, hydration, and decision-making capacity. Moving too soon burns calories and water without guaranteed reward. Ancient survivors conserved energy aggressively because resupply was uncertain. In modern survival scenarios, lost hikers, stranded drivers, disaster survivors, the same rule applies. The safest decision is often to reduce movement until conditions improve or information increases. Orientation beats navigation. Modern training jumps quickly to navigation. Follow a river, head downhill, move towards civilization. Historically, people oriented themselves before navigating. They established where they were, where they came from, and where resources likely existed relative to their position. Practically, this means taking time to identify landmarks, sun position, wind, terrain features, and recent tracks. Movement without orientation increases the chance of becoming more lost. Exposure kills faster than hunger. Cold, heat, wind, and rain actually claim more survivors than starvation ever does. Ancient training always focused on exposure control first. Cloaks, shade, windbreaks, and ground insulation were considered much more important than, say, food procurement. These days, modern survival training often treats shelter as a secondary task, but in reality, shelter is immediate medicine. Protecting the body preserves energy and cognition, which honestly makes every later decision better. Water management begins with conservation. It's interesting, but many survival courses emphasize finding water as an early step. Historically, survivors first reduced water loss. Movement slowed, shade increased, skin was covered, and sweat was minimized. Practically, This means adjusting behavior before searching for water. A dehydrated person moving aggressively becomes more dehydrated. Conservation buys time. Psychological stabilization prevents fatal errors. Fear narrows perception. Ancient warriors and travelers, they trained to control fear through breathing, ritual, and routine. This helped reduce impulsive decisions. In modern survival, simple techniques like controlled breathing, sitting down, or eating a small amount if available can restore cognitive function. Clear thinking is, honestly, a survival tool. So, here's the thing. Why does modern training get this wrong? Well, survival media really tends to reward action, and honestly, a lot of courses out there compress timelines, making everything seem much faster and more dramatic than it actually is. In reality, real survival unfolds over hours and days, not just a few minutes. The very first step, it rarely looks impressive, to be honest. Most of the time, it simply looks like stopping. Training that skips the stabilization phase, well, it creates confidence without control. So when real stress hits, people tend to default to action, not judgment. Stop, sit, breathe, assess injuries, exposure, resources, and location. Only then decide what to do next. This step costs nothing and honestly saves everything. Ancient survivors lived by this rule because, well, they had no margin for error. Modern survivors face the same reality when, systems fail. If you want survival knowledge grounded in what consistently kept people alive, not just what looks good on paper, subscribe to the channel and share this with others who understand that the first move in survival is knowing when not to move.